AITA for accepting money from my parents for my wedding, then eloping. Story 1. My parents gave each of my brothers $50,000 when they graduated from university as a down payment on their home. When I graduated, they did not do the same for me. I asked about it, and they said my husband should provide. I wasn't married. I still lived at home. 3 years later, I met my husband. We dated for a year, and then we got engaged. My parents were overjoyed. When we set a date, they gave me a check for $50,000 to pay for the wedding. WTF? I took the check and we eloped. We then used the check for a down payment on a house. My husband had a similar amount saved up, so we are in a good spot with equity. My parents bare furious that they didn't get a big wedding for all their friends and family to attend. They said that they gave me the money for a wedding. My argument is that I got married and had leftover money. Accurate in my books. My brothers are on their side, so I am here to ask if I'm in the wrong. AITA? Our advice. It sounds like there are some complex dynamics at play here. Your parents clearly had expectations about how their financial support would be used for your wedding, but it seems they didn't communicate those expectations clearly to you. You're not inherently in the wrong for eloping and using the money for a down payment on a house, especially since your parents didn't explicitly state that the money was contingent on having a traditional wedding. However, it seems there might be some hurt feelings and misunderstandings that need to be addressed. It might be helpful to sit down with your parents and have an open and honest conversation about why you chose to elope and how you used the money. Express your gratitude for their support, but also explain your reasons for eloping and how it aligned with your priorities as a couple. Additionally, it could be beneficial to address any underlying issues related to the unequal treatment you received compared to your brothers. This might require some deeper discussions about family expectations, values, and fairness. Ultimately, whether or not you're the asshole in this situation depends on the specific dynamics of your family relationships and the intentions behind your actions. Communication and empathy will be key in resolving any conflicts and moving forward positively. First comment. NTA. Your family is being horrible and is using a bullshit double standard. They didn't expect your brothers to use that money for a big wedding, but you have to. They wouldn't have helped you get a home unless it was through marriage. But your brothers didn't have that condition and just got the money. And they expected you to have a huge wedding so that they could have fun. Saving up the money is the responsible thing to do, and they're being bad parents if they'd rather you spend it all on a huge wedding you don't even want. Edit, just a question, to be clear. There was a wedding and they were invited, right? They're angry because it wasn't big enough? Second comment. So, the interesting thing about this is that it depends completely on the external context. I think the answers here are actually a little simplistic. So, Op's parents clearly come from a culture with rules about which side pays for what. In a world where everyone around them operates by the same rules in heterosexual situations, they would actually be behaving really well. Most notably, they gave each child the same amount of cash. It wasn't that houses cost more than weddings, so the boys got more money instead. They got a small amount for a house and Op got a huge amount for a wedding. Instead, they had the expectation of a society in which it wouldn't be appropriate to give Op house money because a future spouse's family would provide, but women's families pay the entirety of the wedding. So, from their point of view, Op chose to put them in social debt with their community because she wanted a house that was twice as nice. She took the fulfillment of an obligation away from them, creating a karmic loss for them, for her own material gain. Now, I suspect that they are actually in a context in which Op and Reddit are more accurate about the expectations of the people around them than they were. So in the modern context, their behavior shows up as trying to take an opportunity away from Op for their own karmic gain. But everything described about them in the post suggests that they are well-intentioned, and this is a cultural literacy issue. So I'm actually inclined to say nah, but Op is having the wrong conversation. Edit, actually, I realized that Op's husband did come with house money in the equivalent amount. So then, we need to know if it's a situation where the brothers were buying houses for themselves and their wives with $50,000 while their wives paid for their weddings, but Op and her husband had $100,000 because he was still following the expected rules, but they didn't have a big wedding. Story 2. AITA for being truthful with my friends. When telling them I won't go on a weekend away, because I don't want to talk about marriage babies for 3 days? I, 27F, have a group of female friends, 8 of us. We have been friends for over a decade, since school. Now we don't live in the same place. We meet up a couple of times a year for a weekend in an Airbnb. This used to be a weekend of good food, drinks, hot tub, etc. I am content with my life at the moment. I am single, dating, and I don't know if I would like children, but in the event I did, I know I wouldn't want one soon. Around 5 of my friends are either married or in very long-term relationships. Of these 5, 2 either have a baby or are pregnant. I will be seeing all of my friends this year for various wedding friend baby events. I have been invited on this year's girls' trip. I have said I can't come. I didn't originally provide a reason. When queried, in person by my friend who is pregnant, I told her the truth. I am not going because it's a massive financial expense for 3 days where we only talk about people's upcoming engagements, weddings, babies. I have a lot going on, but I feel a lot of my friends do not show an interest unless I talk about someone I'm dating. I also last time listened to one of my friends talk about her breastfeeding plans with vengeance for over an hour. She is not pregnant or trying. Truthfully, it's boring and it feels dismissive. It's also a really expensive way to feel bad about myself. I made clear when telling my friend this, that I am thrilled for them all living the lives they want, but maybe it's not the weekend for me at the moment, meaning it feels like the group has 2 distinct life stages. I'm in the minority and it focuses on one stage. My friend has since told me she's really hurt I am not excited for her or our other friends. I responded saying I evidently was from other actions, but I just didn't think the trip was for me. I do have numerous other things on, and to fit this in both in the calendar and financially is a struggle. I just want to add for this friend specifically, I have gone on 3 weekends away for her wedding, and I am flying to go her baby shower in the last 2 years. I have not asked her, nor has she wanted to fly to see me for anything in the last 2 years. So my query is AITA for being truthful with the reason why I can't go. Our advice. It sounds like you were honest about your feelings and concerns, which is important for maintaining healthy communication in any relationship, including friendships. However, the key here is how you expressed your truth and how you approached the situation. It's understandable that you might feel left out or uncomfortable if the conversations during these weekends revolve solely around topics that don't resonate with you. It's also valid to prioritize your time and finances according to what aligns best with your current situation and interests. That said, the delivery of your message matters. While it's important to be honest, it's also important to consider the feelings of your friends, especially if they interpret your honesty as a lack of enthusiasm for their life events. Perhaps in the future, you could communicate your reasons in a way that emphasizes your support for your friends, while also expressing your personal limitations and preferences. You might consider expressing your excitement for your friends' upcoming events while kindly explaining that you're unable to attend due to other commitments and financial constraints. You can also mention that you're feeling a bit disconnected from the group dynamic due to differing life stages and interests, and suggest alternative ways to stay connected that are more inclusive of everyone's experiences. Ultimately, it's about finding a balance between being true to yourself and being considerate of others' feelings. It's okay to prioritize your own well-being and boundaries, but it's also important to do so with empathy and understanding towards your friends. First comment. At 38, expecting my first child, I stumbled upon an article in a Working Mother magazine cautioning against becoming the friend who only talks about pregnancy and babies, especially to those without kids. My child-free friend swiftly embraced her role as auntie to everyone's kids, despite lacking a biological connection. I made a conscious effort to maintain our adult friendship amidst the parenting whirlwind, ensuring our conversations delved into her work, hobbies, and even her new fur baby. Living solo, she lacked consistent inquiries into her life, so I made it a point to regularly check in, both in person and via text. Despite my own teenagers, our bond remained strong over the years. With her milestone birthday approaching, I've already committed to a long weekend getaway to celebrate with her in Mexico. When my husband suggested our family join and get separate accommodations, I declined. She deserves undivided attention. Reflecting on the article's advice, I'm grateful for its wisdom. I hope others take heed and prioritize meaningful connections over lavish yet disconnected gestures. Second comment. Day. I have this incredible friend who stands out as the best, hands down. She showers my kids with love, sending thoughtful gifts on Christmas and birthdays. One memorable gesture was a gift card to the grocery store for my special needs son, who adores milk. It was such a perfect present, allowing him to indulge in his favorite drink to his heart's content well. Maybe not all at once. She's always thinking of others, organizing outings tailored to the kids like strawberry picking or trips to the park. What's more, she never minds if I need to bring one of the little ones along when we meet up. In return, I make an effort to maintain a balanced friendship, ensuring our conversations cover more than just motherhood. I ask about her fur babies, her hobbies, her work, anything that reflects her as a whole person. Yet I've noticed that many moms, especially those with young children, may overlook the importance of nurturing such well-rounded relationships. It's vital to connect on multiple levels beyond parenthood, sharing interests, dreams, and life beyond the realm of kids. Because when the children eventually grow up, what will remain of the friendship if it's solely centered on them?